Alright guys, this is J Mill. I'm gonna be start making videos again and coming out more reliably. This is just a video on if you have an opportunity to get a older tractor that's been, sitting and been neglected. This is the way to tell if it's worth it to take it on or to let it stay. This is a old Murray 1842, 18 horsepower, 42-inch deck, but I don't have the deck on it. This tractor I got for free. It was sitting back in the woods. I mainly wanted it for the engine and the drivetrain in it because it has a pretty big 5-lug rear end. It has a 18 horsepower Briggs & Stratton on it. And the first thing that I did to make sure that it was going to be worth my time was to check the electrical system to make sure that it had spark, make sure that all the safety switches worked on it and the key switch worked. So what I did was, if you can see the battery in there, I wire brushed both terminals, ran it to my alternate battery to power it up, see if everything worked. So what I did is, now this is all at your own risk, I'm just telling you this is how I do it. I put a little bit of fuel down the throat of the carburetor, turn it over, see if it pops. If it does, then you know that both your coils are good and you're ready to head on to the next step. Now, the next step for me would be to start cleaning everything up, start getting all of this soot out of there, get it cleaned up, check the rear fuel tank to see how bad it is, if I need to take it out or whatever. Now, when I was turning this over, it wouldn't fire anymore, and I think the reason is because it pumped some of this old water and fuel out of the tank, the rear tank, up into the carburetor. So what I have to do now is I'm going to drain that fuel tank and flush it out with some fresh gas. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drain this bowl of this carburetor, see if fresh gas pumps up to it, and see if it runs. If it does, I'll see how well it runs, if there's any suspicions that there's something clogged or something going on in the carburetor. Then I'll head on to taking the carburetor off, cleaning it out, and go from there. Then after I do the carburetor and I know my engine is running good, then I'll move on to changing the oil. And after I change that, then I'll move on to checking my rear end fluid, making sure that that is good. And then after that, I know that I have a good engine, a good transmission and drivetrain, good pulleys. Then I'll move on to the look of the tractor, like taking all this down to bare metal, priming it, painting it, and so on. And then after I get the paint, then I'll move on to sliming these tires, and that is the guideline that I use when gauging if a tractor is worth it or not, and also depending on the price. this tractor I got for free, so I didn't have to think about that. The only thing I had to think about was it worth my time in the end? And that's the guideline I use. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll have a new video out real soon on this, and you can see my progress of moving forward. Thanks, and God bless.